As you can see, it's very calm today, blue sky, very sunny, and it's October 22nd. We're counting down, see whether we can get through all of October without a frost this year, because my flowers are still doing great. Tomato plants have gone. The water is like a mirror. No wind at all today. This is a cone 6 gas-fired oxidation firing. Let's see what we have. It's the second one I've done this week because I haven't done a kiln firing in probably 3 or 4 weeks at this point. I just got the chattering video posted last night. It wasn't supposed to post till tonight, but anyway, it went out on a Friday night, Saturday morning, I guess. So what do we have? Looks good. Yeah, got some nice colors in there. This is a commission. I hope this guy is happy. He wanted greeny blue. It's for his wife's birthday. They have a black cat, and the nickname is Bean. I do some stuff like that every so often. I like to make my customers really happy. What else do we have in here? Got a bunch of sugar jars, some trays. This is unusual. It's my wife did this piece. It's just a little tray with lots of texture and apple green over the top. We usually make a lot of trays like that. This kiln will have a lot of mugs in because there's an order for 60 mugs in here. So I know I've got plenty of those. What's this one? Oh, that's nice. That's one of my little landscape pasta bowls. You could eat pasta out of these because it doesn't slide off the plate. Nice little landscape bowl there. That's like the last firing. I had a bunch of plates on order in that one. That's very nice. There's like 7 glazes on these, maybe 8. And all that. You can tell from the layers there. But if you get them overlapping, you can make 7 glazes look like 14. So, these are like little cheese dish, butter dish pieces, basically. It's a nice stilt fire, lids as well as the actual jar. So I just have to sand off the 3 little points on these. But these are little salt jars, or you can use it for sugar if you want to. They're just little tiny jars. There's nice colors on that piece. Those are just my oatmeals. I have so many different oatmeals, and I touched it with a little bit of green over the top. There's 2 other oatmeals that I have. The yellow oatmeal and a regular oatmeal with apple green on the bottom. This is the same, over speckle clay. That was over white clay. This is over the speckle clay, the same glazes. Makes a big difference. These are the same again, the yellow oatmeal, regular oatmeal, and apple green. But the same glazes over white clay. Makes a big difference. These are my little, like small, obviously smaller coffee mugs. The dark blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal. Again. That's the same as the other 4. And then this one is mouse gray with variegated blue and oatmeal over the top. You just have to tap to get the stilts off, and that's another one of the little salt jar or little tiny sugar jar. These are dark blue with variegated blue and oatmeal. Same again. That looked very blue, didn't it? Yeah, it's interesting. Not sure. I just splashed that one, whereas this one I dipped. So that's the only difference. But look how blue that looked. Ooh. And look how this one turned out really blue too. This is my dark blue over white clay. That's maybe what the difference was there. It was over white clay. These are like little cafe au lait bowls. And that's a regular mug, obviously. I got 60 of these regular mugs coming out of this firing for that guy. It's the coffee barn. The barn in Mahone Bay. 2 more of the dark blue with variegated blue balls and another one of the cafe au lait balls. Look at this is dark blue over speckled clay, and this is the dark blue over white clay, so it gets a lot more blue. Actually, these were the recycled clay, so I had a good firing because there's no blistering in any of these. But the dark blue goes almost black over the speckled or recycled clay. And there's the oatmeals over the speckled clay or recycled clay with apple green over it. That's a nice look. And this is, it's always amazing me when that does that. But this is my matte turquoise over the speckled clay, and there's no turquoise in that at all except for on the top. So that's very interesting. It sort of goes this kind of dull olive color, which is kind of nice. I mean, it's not horrible. I'll show you one of these because they're all the same. There's 6 of these mugs, which is speckled clay. Number 455 from Pottery Supply House with my yellow oatmeal, and then the yellow glaze that I have over the rim, and the bottom is apple green, Maggie Jerk green, which is recipe's been posted in several of my videos. That's how I fire my little stilt on the inside to hold them up over the top of the kiln prop, and this is an order for somebody as well. Blue, green, copper, red over a little butter dish. It's got a little bit of yellow to give a sandy look over the bottom edge. Just seen one of these, that's the same. Oatmeals with apple green. A bunch of these are all mugs for that order. And this is the oatmeal with apple green and yellow oatmeal. So, this one had more apple green over the top of the 2 oatmeals. And there's the same glazes, but less different ratios, basically. This is number 60 from Laguna, speckled clay, and it has the apple green over the top. And I think I did, yeah, the matte turquoise over the bottom, which is a great glaze for the bottoms because they're glazed, but it's a very sort of silky, thin glaze, and it still just falls right off it. But I got fluting on those, obviously, to give that kind of effect. And then there's a whole bunch of the dark blue ones in here, and another one of those we just saw. This is my fake ash glaze, which I don't use very often, but it came out really nice on these pieces. I actually put the apple green over the top of the fake ash. And what did I do? Oh, and I did my oatmeal on the bottom. And that's where you get that wave at the bottom. So I think I will remember that because that looked good. I should have just just do fake ash on one, because you get that, you can see it a little bit at the handle, you get the kind of runs and the dribbles with the fake ash. Would have been nice if I'd had one just like that, but I think I glazed them all like this. I think this might be my last gas firing of the year, but I would have played with this one. Actually, there's a little bit of that, I call it blistering or bloating. It's just barely visible, but it mottles the surface a little bit, and that's my recycled clay and all that. And I think it's because it's not de-aired. You get little pockets of air in the clay, and they can, if you get to a high enough temperature, they start to kind of bubble up a little bit, but it's never much. I mean, you can't feel it. It just looks like it breaks the glaze a bit. And this was near cone 7 as a firing, I think. Here's my cone. Cone 7 was bending, so we did get a bit higher than I hoped, but it looks good. This is a glaze I don't use much at all. It's a speckled light blue, or a sort of light middle blue, but see all the speckles in that? And I rarely use this because it actually can't be applied thick because it flakes. But I overlapped it with my oatmeals over the top, and it worked really good this time. But I got 6 of these in here too. There's over white clay, my matte turquoise with lemon yellow over the top and dark blue on the bottom, and mouse grade, mouse browning, mastering cone 6 glazes with oatmeals over it, and then my matte turquoise on the bottom, which really kind of doesn't have any matte turquoise in it. It's funny because it's, oh, well, that's white clay as well. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. It just applied thin, I think. Yeah, it feels like it too. Just a very thin. If the glaze isn't stirred up, it'll lose the pigment, which settles to the bottom. Dark blue, and a bunch more of that powdery speckled blue that I don't use very much. This is just a mixture glaze that I've mixed a bunch of old blues together over time, and it's coming out this speckled blue. This is more of this oatmeals with the apple green over the top. And there's a fluted one in the mouse grey with variegated blue and oatmeal over it. That one, and that's the matte turquoise with blue and lemon yellow oatmeal over the top. Matte mouse grey, mouse brown, Mastery Cone 6 glazes with oatmeal and variegated blue over the top. And this is my mottled blue, which is a glaze I can never get again because it's a mixture of lots of slot glazes, all blues. And this is what I'm saying, it's the same glazes on both, but speckle clay and the what was that one? This is speckle clay too. This is probably number 60 from Laguna, and this one I think is 455 from Pottery Supply House, which is why I prefer number 455, because the colors seem to retain their color, whereas in the number 60 you get a lot more dulling of the glazes, which is nice in itself, but stilts are dropping off instantly with these. And that's the same number 60 from Laguna, and that one is the mouse grey over number 455. So I think there's two apple green with lemon yellow oatmeal over the top, or one of the oatmeals anyway, and oatmeal on the bottom too. Yeah. And these are both with number 60 from Laguna. You can see all those speckles, that's when I can tell it's, and they spread out a little bit. I think it's manganese dioxide they put in the clay, but it definitely gives you a lot more speckle. This one is 455, less speckle. Another salt or butter dish. Nice little pot for the table. I've noticed in the last 6 weeks to 7 weeks that just about all the sales are coffee mugs, or that price range. And I think that's partly because you can see that people kind of feel like maybe we're going to go into a recession or something. But if you're a potter in business, you have to be able to sell. So to stay in business, you need income. So basically, you go with the tide kind of thing, and sometimes people order other things, but at this time now it seems like 90% of the sales, I would say, are coffee mugs. And then every so often you'll get an order for something else. So this is a sink going to Ohio. A lady was here in the summer and she wanted me to make a blue sink, so I got two of these in here, and I made two different blues basically. This is dark blue and oatmeal over my regular light blue, bright blue I should say. But if you look closely, let's not drop it, there's a lot of speckles in the upper carved area. So it's a little bit more interesting than just flat blue. Two more, I don't have the lids out of these yet, two more of the little salt pots. There's a little stilt firing underneath, so they pop right out usually very easily. There you go. So whether they'll be used for salt or sugar, I don't know, but they're kind of small. So Tenmaku Gold, something different, with variegated blue and oatmeal. No fluting on those. Just one beer tankard in there. It's a big one too. Bright blue, variegated blue oatmeal with a bit of turquoise on the bottom. Tenmaku Gold with variegated blue and oatmeal. That's a nice one. Over speckled clay because it's a bit dark. More of the matte turquoise, apple green and yellow, and the oatmeals with apple green. The stilts are just dropping off instantly. That's apple green on its own with a yellow on the rim. A little bit of the yellow oatmeal on the rim. The yellow oatmeal is just a bit of stain added to the actual glaze, about 10% to my oatmeal to give you that yellow. Of course, there's so many different yellow stains. Another matte variegated blue and oatmeal over Tenmaku Gold. This is some different fluting. You can play around with fluting. And I did basic fluting with the wide potato peeler, and then my trimming tool I use a little to give a little line. I'm not sure if you can see it easier on these. And so in between every base flute, first layer of fluting, and then I go in with another tool a bit thinner and do the other layer, and so you get this extra pattern in the glaze. Look how close we got to the bottom without it running. That was close. And look at Tenmoku Gold on the inside. Whoa. And even more on that one. So Tenmoku Gold worked really good in this firing. Maybe it needs to go to almost cone 7, because this was really cone 7. So Tenmoku Gold, but no speckles. So what's that about? Yeah, just a little light speckling in those. It's probably the clay body that is changing it, but there's the same Tenmoku Gold, variegated blue, and oatmeal. See a little bit of speckles in the inside. Right next to it, Tenmoku Gold. Different clay body probably, and I can't tell because it's but I did do some fluting, some chattering on the bottom of that piece. If you can see in the light there at the very bottom, there's a little line of chattering. But the stilts just drop right off. Tenmoku Gold. You can catch it in the sun a little bit there. It is gold. So it's got to be the clay body that I did these in make the Tenmoku Gold better. You know what it is now actually. I did these pieces out of the dark red clay number 80 from Laguna because I'm doing some Randy's Red in a different kiln, and I wanted to get the Randy's Red, which only seems to work on the dark red clay properly anyway. You need an iron bearing clay, but look over the regular clay. Tenmoku Gold is absolutely spectacular. Finally, another one of the cafe au lait bowls with the oatmeal. Ooh, sun caught that. Not sure if that's going to show up properly or not. Nice textures. Yeah, the sun is... There you go, that's better. And somebody wanted me to do mugs with the Ukrainian colors, but reversed. So that's how the flag shows in Ukraine and all that. And but they wanted it in reverse. So I said, okay, it's not the flag, but they like the colors, I guess. And this, anything down? Nope, no running again. This is variegated blue, bright blue, and mouse gray with some oatmeal. But look how that, I dabbed with the oatmeal over the mouse gray with the sponge. So that really gave a nice effect. And especially, this is the bowl that was in the chattering video that just posted. So that worked really nice. What about the inside? Nice too. No chattering in this one on the inside though. But that's a nice bowl. The chattering really, look at that in the middle. Really nice. That's a nice tool that he sells. Yeah, we've seen these before. Two basic mugs, variegated blue and bright blue oatmeal. Matte turquoise with yellow oatmeal. Yep, this is another one from the chattering video. So you can see how that chattering breaks the glaze. And now I did a separate line of chattering along a thin area there. And that was with using the width of the tool up that part. So the point of the tool and the width of the tool. And it's a nice effect. Yep. These are all recycled clay. So I'm very happy about this firing. The recycled clay seams. I ran it through 3 times through the pug mill. So that seems like it makes the clay better. Mouse gray, oatmeals. I finally got the lids for the actual butter dishes. So a couple of different versions of the butter dish. Matte turquoise, variegated blue, and dark blue on the bottom. And this is variegated blue with dark blue and oatmeal over the top. Ooh, that came out bright. mouse grey with variegated blue and oatmeal. That's my regular oatmeal with apple green over it. Variegated blue with dark blue and oatmeal over the top. Oatmeal with apple green and mouse grey with variegated blue and oatmeal. Straight turquoise over speckled clay. What does that say? La Have, Nova Scotia, that's right. I have a bunch of orders for La Have, Nova Scotia. So the writing on the bottom, a lot of people want that, so you just have to find some store with a name that you think you can write easily and see whether they want their own personalized mugs made. When I had trouble buying stilts, I made my own in that video, posted earlier this year, and this is the very first stilt that I made, and I've fired it now at least 10 times, maybe more, and it's still holding up really well. So making your own stilts is definitely fine. Eventually the pins bend a little bit like that one, but you can straighten it. You can just use a pair of pliers. Don't let them bend too much, and then you just straighten it up a bit, and now it's perfectly straight again. Actually, these pins are much thicker as well than the ones they put in the stilts, I think, that you buy commercially. So this thing's going to last 20 firings, I bet, easily. Dark blue and variegated. No, actually, is that variegated blue? No, I think it's dark blue with variegated blue and oatmeal over the top. Same here. This one's over white clay, and this one is over the speckled clay. So they just look very different, again, based on what the color of the clay is underneath. This was such a good firing. The glaze run right to the edge and didn't stick. Bright blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal. Ooh. I usually make these noodle balls in sets of 4, so people can buy a set of 4, and then somebody buys one, and somebody comes next and says, do you have a set of 4? So you can't win. I guess I just have to make 5. But anyway, I like making sets of these, but they usually sell individually. And that's that one had a little bit of chattering on the bottom with that tool. This one had a lot of chattering. So these are just this is over that red clay. It's stoneware red, number 80 from Laguna, and it makes the blue go almost turquoisey green. I have a Randy's red firing to unpack later, but that's the dark red clay as I just described. Another little salt pot or a sugar jar. Apple green. Not sure what I did. A little bit of oatmeal, I think. Oh, lemon oatmeal at the rim. There's number 4 of those and those. There's some more of that chattering. And there's a little bit on the bottom of that, giving a nice interest in the glaze breaking there. That's the 4th one of that set. So far it's been a perfect firing. Bright blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal. Same over here, although that could be variegated blue with bright blue and oatmeal over the top. So apple green and turquoise, blue, green, copper, red with yellow oatmeal on the bottom, and apple green with yellow on the bottom. Another turquoise one. The sun is really bright, isn't it? Another turquoise, and there's another variegated blue one. These are the same glazes on both pieces, with fluting without. So it's basically my bright blue. Let me look again. Yep, bright blue or variegated blue, I can't tell. I think it's variegated blue first, and then dipped bright blue into oatmeal over the rim. The stilts just fell right off, don't even have to force them off. Or blue, green, copper, red with some yellow oatmeal. Just oatmeal on the bottom. Actually, that's the yellow oatmeal on the bottom over the speckled clay. Here's the other blue sink. This one's nicer. I think she'll choose this one. variegated blue and oatmeal over the top of bright blue. And the bright blue is really bright. That came out great. That bright blue is not always like that. Apple green with lemon yellow at the bottom. Same again there, except lemon yellow is on the top. Turquoise with lemon yellow on the bottom. Apple green with lemon yellow on the bottom. Okay, another matte turquoise with lemon yellow on the top, and regular blue, green, copper, red with yellow on the bottom. So that's it. This is just going to be added into some video. This is a Randy's Red firing in my small kiln. Everything has to be fired Randy's Red when you do these type of firings because it's a special firing cycle. And look, there should be, I'll put a link in the video to the Randy's Red experiments that I did earlier in this year, or was it last year? But so all the information is in those videos on Randy's Red. Here we go. Yeah, let's see. I almost had enough to totally pack the kiln, but I ran out. And it's just a guess when I do glaze things like this, but there's the red. And where it's closest to the elements, you'll see in my previous videos, it stays a bit brown. But when you're away from the elements, it goes red. But that makes interest to the piece, actually, I think. There's still some red in the brown. But it's much brighter where it's not facing the elements. So unless you build saggers for it, which is a lot of work and expense, you're going to get variation in each piece. But that's kind of what I like. And I did a blue glaze on the inside for nice contrast. Somebody wanted some of these bowls too, so here they are. This is right in the center, and see, it's pretty even all the way around. Little bit brown and maybe that side, but really quite red. And it's a beautiful red. It's a warm, kind of a deep brick red. That's there, and that's facing the elements, and that's facing away. And see how nice the black lines come through? I'm looking for a glaze that goes black and brown at the highlights. So I'm still looking for that kind of glaze. I've been playing with my Tenmukus, but still can't really find that. I'm thinking about buying black iron oxide and trying that and see whether it does it. So let me know if you think about anything yourself. This one, away from the elements, beautiful red. Closer to the elements, you've got the traditional Tenmuku, where it's sort of brown breaking to black. Facing the elements, away from the elements. So isn't that interesting? And a bigger kiln, if you did a lot of pieces, you could probably get most of them away from the elements. I think that would work better. So closer to the elements, you'd think it was hotter, so it would go more brown. So more red, but it does the opposite way. And this is that deep red clay that I have. It's number 80 from Laguna, the clay that this works on. It doesn't work on white porcelain, this Randy's Red. Not sure why that is. This is recycled clay, and it does that little bloating thing when you go high up. And I fired this to 2239, so it was higher than I usually fire to get the Randy's Red a bit deeper. But look how bright the Randy's Red is. You've got these blisters coming through because the clay, recycled clay, isn't de-aired, and I think you've got, they're not sharp, they're just little bumps in the clay. And then the blue on the outside is amazing. And that's the chattering. It was in that video I just posted this weekend. So you can see that broke the glaze really nicely. And this is just the regular floating glue out of Mastering Cone 6 glazes. But yeah, no, that might become my salad bowl. I'm not sure I can sell a piece that has that many little bloats. They're not sharp, they're just little raised bubbles. But maybe this is my new salad bowl. Facing the elements, really red. Nice mug. Yeah, Randy's Red doesn't run at all. I mean, I raise it up, it's close to cone. It would be with the hour soak at top temperature at 2239. It didn't run at all. So basically, this glaze can go up to cone 7, possibly even cone 8. Nice red. This one was inside the center there, so this was not close to the elements, and it's red all the way around. Close to the elements, away from the elements. And that, yeah, that gives that mug a lot of interest, although I really love it when it's red all the way around. Close to the elements, away from the elements. Guess we've said that enough now. Okay, more balls. Chattering on the bottom of these with that tool. I've got to play with this tool because I've only used it once in that video. It was brand new. So I'm going to play with it more. And blue on the inside for contrast. I like square balls, but they're hard to stack. If you have a cupboard and you've got limited space, these balls don't stack very well. But they look nice when they're stacked, you know, because of the way they stand up in each other. There's the chattering again. Another one, really nice red. Yep. And the chattering's breaking through. I double dipped the Randy's red on the top and I didn't on the bottom. So isn't it interesting where it's really thick, it's redder. So you've got to get this glaze really thick on the pieces. So I double dip. And I've tried making the glaze really thick, adding a glaze thickener to it. And it tends to crack and flake a little bit if you get it all saturated on the clay, on the pot itself. And then as it dries, it tends to sort of get little cracks and flake off a bit. So I've figured out you have to just double dip. And where it's thin, it's brown. Where it's thick, it's red. Isn't that a good contrast though? I like that together. Same again on the bottom. So there's no variation in temperature in this kiln, even though it's just got one thermocouple at the top. And I actually bent the thermocouple in this kiln deliberately, so it points sideways instead of right into the kiln. That way I can pack more pieces in that shelf. So brown and red. I'm going to have to sand the bottom of these. They're on regular kiln shelves. Brown and red. So I wonder what that's about. Where the element is, you would expect it to be hotter, and in the center you would expect it to be cooler of a shelf. And yet, I think the hotter it gets, the more red you get, and yet the element must be doing something, either extra oxidation or extra, maybe, I don't know, just you can't get any reduction in an electric kiln unless you throw, I can't remember the chemical that you do to do that, but you can get a reduction in electric kiln. It just shortens the life of your electric kiln though. The elements wear out faster. That one's in the center of the kiln, it's red all the way around. You have to throw something in your kiln that burns, and then you can get a reduction, but it puts smoke and other stuff onto your elements, and then that shortens their life. But I'd say this is a very successful firing, except for my recycled clay piece, which did go red on the inside, so there's enough iron in that recycled clay. With the blistering. So it was just a quick add-on to a video.